You are now listening to episode 10 of a self-help podcast that focuses on lifting each other up and counting our blessings at the same time. We are your hosts. Hey, I'm Mia.
I'm Kiosha,
And this is Crazy Beautiful
Beautiful
Talks.
Talks. So, if you are enjoying Crazy Beautiful Talks podcast, you can like and subscribe down below to get notifications every week. So excited! So, I am actually excited. Welcome to Mindset March. Many people do not know that your mindset is everything. This episode is titled Release. I want to preface this by saying this can be an extremely triggering episode, but we are going to be vulnerable because it is a big part of being successful.
Amen.
Yes.
I want to start this with a quote. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself.
Yes.
George Bernard Shaw.
I love that.
Right, girl? You excited?
Yes.
You didn't even finish.
I know because so many people think it's about finding who you are.
Right.
No, it's about creating who you are. People don't know you can create who you want to be. You can create the life that you want to live. You can create your happy.
Exactly. Just like you can create what you do with situations. Like bad things happen to you, you take what you need to out of that bad situation to make you stronger. Don't take the other road. It's so easy to go the other way.
Yes.
A lot of things have happened to the both of us where we could have easily been like, F life, F these kids, F my job, F everything. And I'm just going to do what I got to do. But we didn't do that. We chose to take those bad parts to make us stronger, to make us get a backbone and move forward. So I am excited. You said you're excited. I'm excited about Mindset March because this is exactly what we've been building up to. This is what we've been wanting to do. But
yes.
Okay.
There you go. So, with the topic of the episode as release, I want to start with 4 questions that you can just ask yourself to see if you have bottled emotions that are stopping you from living your best life. You don't have to write them down, just ask yourself. Number 1, have you acknowledged and embraced your imperfections? Number 2, what are some traumatic events in your life that you have kept to yourself? Number 3, do you seek approval from others? And last but not least, when something doesn't go as planned, do you look at it as a failing or do you take it as a learning experience and do better the next time? All right, Mia, let's start with number 1.
Okay, what's
number 1? Number 1. Have you acknowledged and embraced your imperfections?
I think, yeah, I have. I think I knew. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Have you? I don't really know I think I know what my imperfections are, but that could just be me picking at myself. But I've always been the person to acknowledge, I make jokes about myself. I know I'm not perfect, but I don't really, if you was to ask me to write them down, I mean, I don't know, shit. What would you say?
I know I've acknowledged some of my imperfections. No, I've acknowledged all of my imperfections, but I don't think I've embraced them all yet. I am in the works of embracing them all and realizing if I don't like something, I just need to change it.
What are some of your imperfections? Just name one.
Emotionally, I'm very vulnerable and I love really fast. I love. And sometimes it hurts me. Sometimes it backfires on me. And I trust very easily. So I've definitely acknowledged that. And I embraced it to the point to where I'm not going to stop loving. And I refuse to be that bitter person that has a black heart, that refuses to love because they got so hard, because they got hurt before. I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that.
Okay, well, if you put it like that, I think I have acknowledged my imperfections because I have always been like, I wouldn't say cold-hearted when it comes to love, but I would say like, okay, I can love, but I could drop you just like that. I'm a true Aquarius, with my heart, and I could drop just like that. And I found that to be, I can't be doing that because I could have missed out on a lot of things. Relationships are not perfect. Like things will happen. You will have humps in the road. But at the first hump, when I start going back the other way. I'm not even
No.
I'm not even trying to get over no hump. When I start seeing the hill, oh no, it's time for me to turn this boat around and go back. You know what I mean? So I have really turned that around and I've stopped being cold-hearted, as you would say, and I really thought about my issues, like especially with this relationship that I'm in now. I really have to take the time and be like, okay, hold on. I really, them showed the the little red devil and the little white devil. I swear to God, I have two different conversations with myself. Like, oh, I can do this, which I am known to do, or I can do this, and we can see what happens. And this person, what is it, Angel, have always steered me the right way. So I get what you're saying when it comes to imperfections. And yes, I think I have acknowledged some of them and I am working on some of them.
And it's not always about just relationships between maybe a man and a woman or your significant other. It's about your friends too. Because there's some people in this world that are like, okay, they did something I don't like, I'm going to cut them off. But we have to realize that everyone's their own person. And no, we don't have to love everything that someone does. We can either accept it or we don't have to. But we need to stop being, as a society, so damn judgmental. We are very judgmental.
Yeah.
And we need to release that and just let people do them and be them. So,
Amen.
yes.
Amen.
So, what are some traumatic events in your life that you have kept to yourself?
Okay, well, I mean, something has happened to me younger, but I mean, I want to talk about it, but it's not something that I have kept bottled in, but I have spoke out about it, but
Yes.
nothing has happened. But when I was younger, my mother, she was like in prison, in and out of prison, and when she was out, she really didn't have like a stable place for me to live with her. So I was like fostered around. Like I stayed with 3 out of 4 of my uncles. I fostered with my aunt. And after fostering with my aunt and finding out that she was physically and mentally abusive, I had to go live with my dad because my mom still, my sister was there too, living in hotels. She's like 18 though. Or you were living on your own or something, right?
Yeah, I was on my own.
Oh yeah, she was on her own, so I couldn't live with her. But
you came afterwards. You came.
I did. I stayed with you till I was like 26. At the age of like 12, I went to go live with my father. Okay, now my father was the definition of a Rolling Stone. Okay, me and my brother actually are like 2 months apart. Okay, so anyway, so when my dad was there, he really wasn't there, and he was like in and out, whatever. So when he was there, he always brought strange, sketchy people around. You know what I mean? Like my uncles, my cousins, uncles and cousins, like people I've never met in my life, and we are not blood relations, but my dad just figured everybody's his family. Anyways, one day we come home, me and my siblings. I have a little sister, I have a brother, I have cousins. Anyway, we come home from playing outside. It's this like boy in the living room. So my dad's like, yeah, okay, yeah, this your cousin or whatever. He just stay here for tonight, whatever. Don't, go take a shower and go to bed. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like 11, 12 years old. I go to bed. Middle of the night, I feel like a tap on my foot. So I look up, and me and my sister are asleep in the same bed. I look up, and the dude is in the hallway. And I look up, and I'm like, okay, like, just looking. And he's like, oh, your dad wants you. He's in the living room. And I'm like, okay. So I get up, I start walking down the hall. I walk past the bathroom, and I instantly get attacked. And, he did some things that I would not wish on my enemy to me. And after, he takes me to the couch, and we start watching music videos, and he's just like all up on me and stuff. And I'm like, for some reason I didn't say anything. Like, my dad and people are asleep, my brother, everybody's asleep, and I just didn't say anything. And I just sat there and watched music videos. And then I was like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom. And I got up, and he was like, all right, make sure you come back. I went to my sister, and I'm waking her up, and I'm like, come with me, just come with me in the living room, like hoping that if she was in there, he would have stopped doing
Yeah.
what he was doing. You know what I mean? So I woke her up, took her in there. Morning come, we go to church, we come back, he's gone. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, why say anything? I mean, people always say like, oh, she fast, or her look at her body, and things like that. I'm like, who's gonna believe me? Who's gonna believe that I was attacked by him? They probably think like I wanted it or whatever. So
Yep.
when I went home, I was a kid. I was telling people I had a boyfriend. I was telling people, yeah, like, I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I didn't know. But fast forward, and people don't understand why I don't have a good relationship with my father, and why we weren't close, and why I did not attend his funeral, and why I really didn't care that I didn't attend his future funeral. Because when I turned about 16, 17, I told my family, I told mommy, I told my father, and, other family members that were in the room what happened. And the first thing out of my dad's mouth was, well, why didn't you say nothing back then? Ain't nothing I could do now. And he walks off.
Wow.
Why my mom and other family members are like, consoling me and, crying, and why didn't you say anything, and blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, I mean, there's nothing that we could do now. Why you didn't say nothing back then? To me, it made me feel like he didn't believe me. And I never told anybody that. I never said what he said and how that made me feel.
I never knew about that.
I just was like, yeah, why didn't I say nothing back then? Because had I said, we don't know who this person is. Obviously, he don't even know who this person is. So how are we going to find him now? You know what I mean? But I don't even think I was telling people so we could find him. I was just like releasing.
Releasing it.
I was
Releasing.
just, and when you release to somebody, it's like you want them to be like, I'm sorry, or not even sorry if they haven't done anything. It's just like, I wish I was there. I don't know. I don't know.
Listen.
I
Listen.
wanted him to say, but it wasn't that.
Wow.
It was not that. It was not that at all.
I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that I know you've told people about, what happened when you were younger, but I'm glad that you released that how you felt when your dad wasn't there for you, or you felt that your dad wasn't there for you, or he wasn't there in the right capacity. And that's what happens with a lot of people. Our world, we don't know how to be there for people anymore. We don't know how to love. We don't know how to guide. We don't know how to comfort. That's a problem. And that's
Yeah.
something that we need as a society. It's crazy.
And when I have flack from family members, like, about my father and stuff, like, you don't know our relationship. You don't know what has happened with us. And for people to think I'm cold-hearted because of how I reacted, you don't know what has happened. So I just wanted to clear that up. And happy to get that out because
Is that a weight off your shoulders?
yeah, I never
See,
told anybody that.
see that.
I've told people the story, of course, like what has happened to me, but I've never told them what my father's reaction was.
I love it. I mean, I'm so glad that you decided to share that.
Woo! Okay, girl,
Release.
let's move this on to you, okay?
Okay. Well, there's a few things that I guess I should release. That I've talked to some people about it. But obviously we said in the beginning, we're going to be saying some triggering things because we want people in our audience to feel that they can release and they can talk to people about it, because it will be a burden off your shoulders. It will open up your mindset and help you live a happier and healthier life. I can say the first thing is, I guess we'll stay on the subject. I was 17. First time I had ever been to a club. I was still a virgin. I had never had a boyfriend before. And me and my friend went to a club. A couple of guys saw us and asked us to go back to their homes. I lived in Utah, and I was very naive. And I never thought in a million years that anybody would hurt me or anything. I'm having fun. First time out, first time, experiencing the world, just having fun. We get back there and they offered us a beer. First time I'd ever been offered alcohol, anything. I'm like, sure, trying to be cool. Not knowing that they slipped date rape drugs in our beer. Only thing I remember is being raped by multiple people everywhere. I remember getting up the next day and there being a bunch of girls on the floor and being sore as hell. And the guy saying, okay, I'm going to take you home. At that time, I lived with my best friend in Utah because I couldn't live with my dad anymore and stepmom. That's another story that I'll probably tell. And I went there and I didn't say anything. And because I was ashamed and I thought I brought it on myself. I thought I deserved it. I thought this is my punishment for going out. I should never went out. I'm too young. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have went with another man to his home. I thought it was my fault. So I never said anything. Probably like 6 months later, I told two of my best friends what happened. And they were there for me. They consoled me. I didn't know the guy's name. Like, I knew his name, but I didn't remember where he lived, nothing. When I tell you, it was like a bad movie. Like, you are in and out of it, in and out of it. You just remember people on you and looking around, and it was literally like a bad movie. And nothing was ever done. Now, have I released this? I told my ex-husband what happened to me. I've told my ex-mother-in-law what happened. There's been certain people that I've told that it has happened to me, only because I don't want to keep it anymore, because I'm not a victim. It happened to me, and guess what? I learned that I have to now be obviously aware of my surroundings and stuff like that. But I'm taking it for my girls, so I can teach them, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. So this will never happen to them, because that was that was a crazy part of my life.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I remember, I think I have heard this story before when I was younger, and I hold on to it. I don't put my drink down nowhere. Like I get it from the bartender. I don't trust people. So, you know, getting your story out, it helps people, because it's like it can happen to anybody. It
Yep.
can happen to anybody. So it's good, to hear these type of stories for young girls, so that they can look out for themselves. For real.
Definitely. Now, I do want to share just two more stories. I'm going to make them short and sweet, only because I feel like they were a big impact in my life, and I'm still working through the first one. The first one is, I had a very different life with my dad and my stepmom. Um, um, I was treated very differently. I helped raise my younger brothers and sisters. I basically just cooked and cleaned and went to school. My stepmom and other family members on her side they didn't like me.
Mm.
So I basically lived in the basement, and I
Who's Cinderella?
I felt like the help. When I got older and I left, fast forward maybe 2015, maybe before that, 2010, I don't know, somewhere in these 2000s, my brother and sister, my younger brother and sister, not Mia, but my younger brother and sisters expressed to me that they felt that I abandoned them. And I didn't abandon them. I was hurt. I was stuck. I was treated like the help. I was, I didn't have a childhood because of this woman and everything. And to this day, we can't, we have not been able to see eye to eye because they don't know the whole story and they don't know what I went through. And to this day, I feel that they still feel that I abandoned them, and that hurts me. And we're working on a plan so that we can get through that. Because I know, we all we have a lot of siblings.
We do.
And none of us have a parent. All of my mom and dad died. My sister's mom, which is our mom and dad, died. And then my baby brothers and sisters, their mom and our dad died. So literally we have each other. And I hope we can get through it. But it's that right there, it's very hurtful. And it's hard to get through every day knowing that my siblings feel like that and I don't get to see my nieces and nephews. It sucks.
And that's another thing, like with me and your stories, if our siblings knew how we really felt, maybe they would understand what happened or why we did this way or why, because at the end of the day, you're the oldest and your siblings with your father on your father's side and your mother's side. I'm the oldest. Well, not the old, I'm the second oldest when it comes to my dad's side. So it's like everybody's looking at you like, okay, well, we're not getting along. So
make it better.
what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And everybody ultimately wants to be a family, but we're just so stubborn. We get it from our parents, but we're just so damn stubborn. We can't get it together.
So last but not least, which I really think that you need to release it too, is the day that our mother died. We were called in the middle of the night. We were at a party at a friend's house, and we were called in the middle of the night, and we were told that our mother.
Actually, because I really remember it. We were club promoters, okay? We used to be out there. I mean, we got invited everywhere. If it was anything that was popping, we were a part of it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And our mother was about to turn, how old was she about to turn? Like 44, 45, or 45? How old was she? 43? I don't know. She was about to turn, she was born in 1964, and this was like in 2015. 13, sorry. Anyway, she was about to turn something. And all she wanted was to go to the Soul Circus. Remember that?
Yep.
And she was like, they were in town. And she was like, I just want to go to the Soul Circus. I just want to go to the Soul Circus. She was like, can you get tickets? Can y'all get tickets? Y'all da-da-da-da-da. We're like, I don't know. Maybe we'll check. So we went to that party. And, it was basically our promoter friends. That's who we hung out with. He cooked us dinner. It was fun. And we got a call in the middle of the night where we were working the Soul Circus. And we got tickets for free. Our shout out to Jamal. We miss you, bro. Okay.
Rest in peace.
He called us that night and he told us, look, I got like 10 tickets for y'all, but I just need y'all to sell these other 150. But I got your 10. So we like, oh my God. So we called We called my mom's phone, and my stepfather answered the phone. And he was like, "Oh, she's in the bathroom." And we were really loud because we were drunk and we were excited. We're like, "We're just calling to let her know happy birthday," because it was 12 o'clock. And
Yep.
happy birthday. And we got a surprise for her. And he was like, "She's in the bathroom. I'll tell her to call you when she gets out." So we hung up. Then he proceeded to call us. Now you
See,
can.
I didn't know about that conversation.
What conversation?
I didn't know that you had called mommy and was gonna tell her about the tickets.
I thought we were on the phone together. I thought we
I
were.
think you were. I was so intoxicated that night at Marnez's house. That was crazy.
I did because I remembered that I called because I can't hold a secret. I'm ready to tell. I'm like, "Girl, it's your birthday," and I know she's a night owl. She
Yeah.
don't sleep at night. She sleep during the day, and so I knew she was gonna be up. It was like 12 o'clock. So I guess I called on my own to wish her a happy birthday, and he said she was in the bathroom. He was gonna have her call us, and then that's when he called us back.
He called us
And he
back.
called you back or something,
Yes.
right?
And we were on our way home because we lived together at the time. And he said, "There's something wrong with your mom. Her eyes are open and she sounds like she's snoring, but she's not talking to me."
I remember that.
I told him to call 911, but we're on our way. And he wouldn't.
And we only lived 5 minutes away from mommy at that time.
We did, but we were in San Bernardino. We were coming from San Bernardino.
Um,
We were on the freeway, so we got there probably like 15 minutes later because we sped like freaking crazy. And we got there, and my mom was on the floor of her room.
and I immediately, you said call 911, and I immediately called 911 and got them on the phone and handed the phone and I put it on speaker, and they were like, started telling you, doing CPR.
CPR.
And I slid the phone, and you said, she's going to the hospital. You need to go tell grandmommy and uncle or something, right?
Yes, you were trying to call them. You were calling grandmother back to back to back. We were just trying to get a hold of everybody because it didn't look good. And we ended up I was doing CPR for like 5 minutes until the paramedics got there.
I left before the paramedics got there.
Yeah. And then we got to the hospital and found out that she was already brain dead. But I replayed that in my brain a lot. Like I replayed just her open eyes looking at me and just hearing that sound. And just, I don't know, just doing CPR, and that shit just hurts me sometimes still. And I'm trying to release it, but it's so, I just feel like we just didn't do what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, she suffered from a brain aneurysm.
Embolism.
And that's the thing. I feel like the doctor explained to us, there was nothing that we could have done differently. He said, had she had a brain aneurysm in the hospital, there was nothing that they could have done to save her. And sometimes you just have to stop asking why or how come and really believe in the professionals, or like when it comes to spirituality and when they say God said this, and you want to go back like, well, why? It contradicts the Bible, blah 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 blah. But I think that it's God. Either you're going to believe it or you're not going to believe it. Either you're going to trust it or you're not going to trust it. So when it comes to how she died and everything, I think I've pretty much released that. But what hurts me is when I get to milestones and I can't call my mom and I can't, and that's what hurts me. Like, I don't know.
What hurts me is that I feel like our family support is not as there as it's supposed to be, but whatever.
And that's another thing. Our mom, literally, when you watch TV and you're like, oh, she was the glue that kept our family together. I'm like, I thought my grandmother was the glue. that kept
No,
the family together. And no, in actuality, it really was my mom. My mom really was the one who organized, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to get together this. Oh, we're going to go here. Even though she was not a social person at all. But she was the one that, like, no, our family needs to, well, she was good. People wanted to be around her. I would say that. So
Yeah,
I figured that's a big part of it too. But
definitely.
yeah.
But okay, I'm done with that. Woo! Okay.
Get the sobby stories out the way.
All right. Mia, do you seek approval from others?
I mean, I would be lying if I said no. Like I do. Like when it comes to Instagram, like you don't post a picture for you. You post a picture because you want other people to see you. And you want to see who likes it and who has something to say, even though I don't know, I don't get a lot of negative comments, but I mean, it's good to see the positive comments, and it's, and the likes and the numbers going up, and so I mean, in real life, I think I do seek the approval because I want to make sure I look nice, I guess, for others. Do you seek approval from
I
others?
do, but I used to seek it a lot more than I do now. I used to be very, I want people to like me and I care what people think about me, but I'm getting to that age where honestly, I don't care. So,
Okay.
question number 4. When something doesn't go as planned, do you look at it as failing or do you take it as a learning experience and do better the next time?
Oh yeah. I don't take it as failing. I take it as, it wasn't for me. Like I learned from it. Oh, I won't do that again. Like, I do a lot of those. Like, whoop,
Ditto.
you almost got me, but I won't do that again. Nope, I done seen the signs already. So no, I really, I don't take it as failure. No, I don't. I pretty much can get myself right back up to beat. How about
Ditto.
you?
Ditto. I'm same. I don't look at it as failing. I mean, in my younger years, I did, and you get down on yourself. But now, no. I definitely take it as learned experience and know what I need to not do the next time.
According to tinybuddha.com, the truth is we all hide our emotions occasionally. We pretend, avoid, and deny uncomfortable emotions in an effort of self preservation as a defense mechanism. We do this most often with difficult emotions like shame, fear, or anger. When we experience events that emotionally overwhelm us and we're unable to process what's happening, accept our emotions, and express them through our body and mind, we hide them deep inside where others cannot see them. And we end up hiding them from ourselves too. They still up in there, girl.
I
All
hear
up
you.
in there, in the back, behind the weave.
That
They up in there, okay?
So they also said that unresolved emotions get trapped in your body where they build and fester, draining our energy, leading to burnout, emotional imbalance, and eventually disease. When we chronically repress emotions, we create toxicity in our body, mind, and heart. This is so true.
Mhm.
This is super true.
You don't even know why you're mad. You don't even know
This,
why you're evil.
yes,
You don't even know
yes.
you got this, you got that. You see how like rich people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
Go ahead.
but like rich people and they're so angry and you wonder how can you be so rich? You have everything with the snap of your fingers and you're still angry. It's
There's
something that
something bottled up.
money cannot buy.
Mm-mm.
It's something's
Your
deeper.
mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Your mindset.
And
This unprocessed emotional energy is stored in our organs, muscles, and tissues. It leads to inflammation and chronic health problems and undermines our overall well being. Mindset. Mindset.
It
You
is.
you your stress can kill you. We already know stress can kill. Stress will
We
kill.
already said it before in our other
Yes.
episodes. Stress
Yes.
can kill. It
Yes.
will kill. It killed before. You have to get control of your mind. You have to get control of your emotions. You can't let people come into your space. This is your space. This is your space. Okay? You can't let people come in here and tell you how you gonna feel.
Yes.
You have to control. Okay, you say this to me, but boo boo, I am strong in who I am, and I'm happy in who I am, and
Yes.
there's nothing that you can do to disrupt my aura and what I got going on.
Never. Never.
A freaking man, I love this. I love this mindset march. I really, really do.
Yes.
I'm getting excited.
It is.
Okay. There are a few things you can do that will have an amazing impact immediately. Okay? Recognize self-awareness, boo-boo. The challenge is to recognize the emotion and feel it in your body. Not recognize it and feel it. Once you feel it twice, that's like that roller coaster, okay? That
Yes.
first roller coaster, you scared, you in line, you're like, oh my gosh, we're going all the way to the top. I'm so scared, I'm gonna die. You get on it, you ride it. I mean, you go crazy, you get off, and you're like, okay, I didn't
Yes.
die. I'm
Yes.
still alive. That was fun.
Yes. Yes.
It's not gonna be fun. I don't wanna categorize it as not serious. I mean, it's a lot of emotions that it's going to be a lot difficult to get through, like Kiosha was getting through. And like, I'm going to go home and think about this later. I'm going to be thinking about, that's the process of releasing it, is getting it out first. Now replaying it in your mind and figuring out, what to take from it and what to
Yes.
leave, trash
Yes.
it. Anyway, this is where mindfulness comes from. The goal is to notice what is happening within your body, accept it, and feel it fully without judgment.
I definitely think that's correct. If we don't recognize and feel our emotions, we're not going to be able to get through them. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you got to think about that. Like we were talking about what we were talking about earlier, and I recognized how I was feeling, and I definitely felt it, obviously, because I was crying. But that's the only way I'm going to be able to release it successfully and move on,
Mm-hmm.
and set my mind to that successful lifestyle that I want.
That's like that. Like Medea, I was a fan of his plays or whatever. And this is more about forgiving people. But it's also, I took it as recognizing it. Because if you don't recognize something, it has a hold on you, you know,
Oh,
and you can't do anything until you release it. It's going to continue to have a hold on you. And it's going to continue to dictate how you feel and how you move or how you don't feel. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes,
Depression and everything else. So once you release it, can't nobody hold it against you. You feel me? You can't hold something against me I already know.
that
What you
part.
telling me? Like, like if you are promiscuous and I'm a hoe. Like I had a friend like this. She was a prostitute. Okay, she was a hoe, and she was like, "I know I'm a hoe. I'm a da 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 da. Like I gets my money, boo, but you a free hoe, and you're mad at me. You can't use something that you gonna keep calling me a hoe. I know I'm a hoe. You can't use something I know against me.
Yes,
That's a poor example, but I'm just
I know,
saying,
but it's an
it's
example.
an
I mean, you
example.
do you.
Exactly. The next one is respond, self expression. Emotions need to be expressed to be processed. The goal is to move the energy of emotions through and out the body so we can let it go.
Release.
Let it go. Let's go
Let it
like this.
go.
Let it.
Let it go.
Right. Thank you. Okay.
Let it go. All right. Don't hold back anymore. Let it go. Release. Release. That's all I can say about that is release. Like we have to.
And it's funny you singing that song because when you watch Disney shows,
Girl, it be hitting. It'll
It be
hit.
hidden, and you think it's for kids, but it pulls the adults in because it's always a hidden message. And that
Yes.
let it go. All she had to do, she was hiding herself in that box in
Yep.
her room. I mean, in her room,
Yep.
not letting her sister know what was going on with her. The parents died with the secret.
Yep.
Nobody knew what was going on in that room until she let it go, like she said. Then she truly found her strength.
Yes.
She found that she was okay with living by herself. She got
Yes.
her a big ass castle, okay?
Yes.
She could build her own stuff. Like, just let
Let
it
it go.
go.
Yes.
Amen. That brings me to, after you let it go, girl, you gotta reset. Self-care. If we habitually neglected our bodies and ignored our emotions, we have to redirect ourselves to body mind self care and indulge in healing habits that will bring in the feeling of well being.
Yes. Like meditation.
Amen.
Like the Bible plans that I do. Like just talking, me and my girlfriends just talking and pouring out into each other, and then, you know, pouring out what happened, maybe negative that day or whatever that week, but then pouring positivity and affirmations into ourselves.
And that's another thing when you're talking about friends. Like, it's good to release. It's always good to have a friend that you can release to. You
Yes.
release, but you have to think about your friend too when you're releasing. When you're releasing that bad stuff, try to fill each other up with some positive stuff too.
Yes.
Don't just always get on the phone and talk about the negative things, because that sucks. We talk about the energy and everything. That sucks people's energy when you just loaded with a whole bunch of bad energy that people put on your shoulders. And it's their baggage, but it's still dumped on your shoulders.
Yes.
And that can affect people's friendships. And I just think that if you have a friend that you could tell everything to, make sure y'all do affirmations together, lift each other up at the same time. So I guess we're going to get into some questions.
Ooh, ooh.
This is when you really find out who we are. I'm just like, okay, Kiosha. What are some ways that you can release all of your bottled up painful emotions?
I mean, like you said, talking to your friends, talking to God, talking to your significant other, writing it down. I found that writing things down releases so much off of your shoulders. If you're not comfortable and you're introverted or you're just shy or you just don't want to talk to someone, write it down. Write it down, tear it up, burn it, get it out. That's
I
it.
was gonna say that too. They have this thing where you write down, you know, what you want to get rid of, what you don't want to think about, what you want to release, everything you want to release in your life. You write it down, and then you like a bonfire, you burn it up. Not saying that it's really gonna go away, but it's just a step. It's just letting that. It's writing it down. It's getting it out there
You'd
for
be
the first.
surprised how much that helps.
It does.
You'd be
Just try it.
surprised.
What I do, I think, yeah, writing it down. I have a lot of self-help books. I think we should do a self-help book podcast. We
Episode.
just show all of our self-help books, because I know you have a lot too.
Yes, I sure did.
So yeah, it finds in my self-help books, they ask me, what do I want to release? What do I want to let go today? What do you want to leave in the past? And I write it down. Like, I need some more room. Like,
Yes,
and it's
definitely.
good to it's good to let it out, no matter how messy your paper gets, no matter if you need to add some pages in the back, no matter what your books look like or your journals, it's all right. It's for you. You can write it how you want to.
That part. That part. Also, therapist. A lot of people need, go to therapists. That's good.
Professional help, like we.
So, question 2. How do you find and access your repressed emotions?
For me, mine's a little different. I don't know. I think Mine's more like a chain reaction. Like I watch a lot of TV. So like if I'm watching something, I just like break out and start crying. I like try to dissect why. Why am I crying? I probably watch that same part over and over again. Like why am I crying at this part? Why? You know what I mean? And I just
Yeah.
like dissect it on and I try to and it ends up bringing emotions like, "Oh, maybe I'm not really over this situation." Like when it comes to my mom, like I probably cry like 2 or 3 times a week just thinking about my mom. Like, like different things, different situations, any situation that just like reminds me of my mom. And sometimes it's not negative tears. It's like, just happy I shared those emotions, those experiences with my mom.
Yes.
And then sometimes I'm just sad, like why, like why it had to be my mom, like I always have this question: had my mom still been in my life, would my life be like this, or would my life be like this? You know what I mean? Like what
Mm.
would there be different situations in my life? So yeah, that's my most suppressed feeling because I don't know. I mean, I guess it's because of the lost, you know what I mean? But I just don't
Yeah.
know why I'm still so harboring it so much.
Huh. Well, how I, access my repressed feelings is I found that meditation has helped me. Doing deep breathing, it brings out a lot for some reason. Like literally, you can be sitting there meditating, doing your breathing exercises, and just start bawling because all that built up emotion is just coming out and pouring out of you and getting out of you. And it's some of the most liberating experiences that you can have. I definitely suggest it. If you have not tried it, I just suggest it for like just a week. Just try it and see how different you feel. So, so now, whatever emotions you have found, thank them for being there and allowing you to be aware of them. As always, you want to say something in a way that makes sense to you. You might say something like, "Thank you for letting me witness you sadness," or "Thank you for showing yourself to me anger." You just want your emotions to know that you are aware of them. You can even take it up a notch by adding on, "You have a home here," or "You can stay for as long as you need to." The point is to welcome the emotion into your body. That way you're aware of it and just to know when it's time to release it.
Amen. Like it might sound funny,
Yeah.
okay, with you saying that, like, oh, it's welcome. But I do have conversations like with my anger, like when I'm getting real angry, I'm like about to pop off. Like back in the day, I'm like, nope, not today. We're not doing this today, girl.
Right?
We're not doing this
The
today.
devil's a
Okay, the
lie.
devil is a lie. We can hold
Yes.
it. And I'm ultimately talking to my anger.
Yeah. No, for real.
Like, I'm like, nope, not nope, nope. It's all right. Let her
Yeah.
talk her stuff.
For,
We
for
good.
real. For real.
You
For
know
real.
what I mean? So I get when you say like you talk to your anger, let them know. Like you're talking to yourself, but you ultimately talking to your anger. You're just letting yourself know I can control you. I'm in
Yes.
control of this body, up in my mindset. I'm in control. And if I don't
Yes.
feel like popping off or I don't feel like dealing with something, I don't have to.
Yes.
And I could just move on. So get control of yourself. You might feel like you crazy. They say people who talk to themselves are a little crazy, but no, people who just pop off and can't control themselves, those
That's
are the
crazy.
ones that are crazy.
That part. That part. So that brings us to the end of Mindset March release. Let's end this with a question for our viewers. Once you release all of your emotional pain, of course you're exhausted. What do you do to recharge?
And you can answer this on our Facebook page, Crazy Beautiful Talks, or our group page, Crazy Beautiful Talks. Now, that's a private group, so you're going to have to answer some questions to get in. We ain't just letting anybody in.
No.
Our next episode is on how to renew yourself after your release, girl. I hope you will join us with
Another
another
episode
episode
of
of
Crazy
Crazy
Beautiful
Beautiful
Talk.
Talks. Peace.